Remember back in the day, or even now, the black church would say, the Lord works in mysterious ways. Well, in this instance, white supremacy works in mysterious ways. It works in creating false narratives, once again, to try to destroy it and to assassinate the legacy and the image of Bill Cosby as America's dad. This is a classic case of hundreds of years of the dominant white society trying to accuse a black man of these so-called heinous crimes and depicting them, you know, as these animalistic mutants that prey on white women. This man is 80 years old. Okay? 80 years old. And they set the quickest retrial for these so-called rape cases from 40 years ago for November the 6th of this year. Where's the retrial for Philando Castile? Where's the retrial for George Zimmerman? So the list can go on and on and on. I mean, they said the retrial. They just had the goddamn verdict, or they had the June 17th was when they declared a mistrial. And less than 6 months later, November 6th, I mean, they are just complete. Their plan is to destroy Bill Cosby's legacy. Mission accomplished. Their plan is to create a false narrative and erase the image of Bill Cosby being America's favorite dad. Mission accomplished. Whatever comes out of this trial, let's say he's found not guilty again, another mistrial, or guilty, whatever the case may be. The point is that the dominant white society, this judge, Stephen O'Neill, is doing his part in upholding the rules and regulations of white supremacy. The damsel in distress, the white lady. You try to rape a white lady, they're going to get you. You see what happened to Emmett Till, right? So when I read this, when I found out about this, man, I was actually doing some research on the Jim Crow Museum website of racist memorabilia, and they had a posting about this false narrative created by the dominant white society called the brute caricature. And I'll read a description of what they're talking about. And this is exactly what they're trying to do with Bill Cosby. And this has been happening for years, like I said, you know, since basically 1505, since the inception of the transatlantic slave trade. But on the website from the Jim Crow Museum, it says the brute caricature. The brute caricature portrays black men as innately savage, animalistic, destructive, and criminal, deserving punishment, maybe death. This brute is a fiend, a sociopath, an antisocial menace. Black brutes are depicted as hideous, terrifying predators who target helpless victims, especially white women. Charles H. Smith, 1893, writing in the 1890s, claimed a bad Negro is the most horrible creature upon the earth, the most brutal and merciless. Clifton R. Breckinridge, 1900, a contemporary of Smith, said of the black race, when it produces a brute, he is the worst and most insatiate brute that exists in human form. Okay, so again, this is exactly what they're trying to do. The dominant white society is trying to, and mission accomplished, create this false narrative for Bill Cosby as a brute caricature. This savage animal who preys on white women, who had a feasting of raping white women in the 60s, 70s, and 80s and early 2000s, right? And this man needs to be stopped no matter how old he is. He's 80 years old. We need to make sure he's punished. We're not going to let him get away with that because he is an animalistic Negro mutant predator that attacks and preys on white women. He must be stopped and he must be punished. And we want to seek the death penalty. In this terms, death penalty meaning destroying the legacy and the image of Bill Cosby. And mission accomplished. So the image of Bill Cosby is forever tarnished and is dead. His image of being America's favorite dad, the Bill Cosby Show, him being a fun-loving dad on that show and just a fun, family-orientated comedian, it is completely gone and tarnished because of them. The brute caricature, false narrative, depicted on Bill Cosby, mission accomplished. That's it. Point blank and simple. That's all I got to say, man. That's all I got to say. That's exactly what they're trying to do. What can you do as black people collectively? How do you prevent this from happening? Well, it's going to take a collective, you know. It's not just about me or anybody else making videos to make light of this. It's about black people collectively as a group, like-minded individuals who understand what's going on in this world today. Us coming together with a plan and making sure that we are working on replacing this broken system of injustice with a system of justice. And it's a litany of things that we need to do to accomplish that, right? For instance, completely having a separate society from those people who oppress us, people classified as white, and our own people who make us look bad, right? Coons, sellouts, Sambos, those type of people. Having our own resources, right? From all 9 areas of activity: economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. Us establishing a code of conduct for black people. It's a litany of things, but until then, things like this will continue to happen. I listen, right now the most popular comedian on the planet is Kevin Hart. Wouldn't shock me years later they did the same thing to that brother. Wouldn't shock me at all. Nothing should shock you in a system of white supremacy. Nothing. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that, family. Leave your comments down below in the comment section. Until next time, Chauncey, a.k.a. the Black Separatist, signing out. Peace.